Hi folks, welcome right back to the Hoard here. And there you go. As I'm trying to get organized, I guess I'm starting out with some of the bigger objects. You guys know I got rid of a couple of cars this year. They're the ultimate of the big objects. I got rid of that Kia and that Ford Escort. I also got rid of the CB, or what the heck was it? The Scrambler, the CL 350. That one's gone, and I also got rid of that Suzuki. What was it? A DS 200. So those banks have left, and I've gotten rid of a couple of mini bikes. Right, the Moto something and the what was that called, a dirt bug. So that stuff is gone. Now the next thing that's queuing up is I have this overabundance of golf carts. This is a 1993 club car and it runs, so I'm keeping it. Right, we want to keep that because it runs. There is a second club car in the Hoard, and there's going to be quite a bit of walking around because I kind of want to organize by brand names. So please excuse me for that. So that's club car number one. She runs. I have a second club car which is the same year. And the only thing that's wrong with it, so I'm told, is that it has some kind of ignition problem. It doesn't spark. And that's this one in here. The engine is supposedly complete. It's just a matter of getting it to spark. And unfortunately, as you guys could see, it's quite buried. But what I've wanted to do with this cart is try my portable ignition system on it and see if I can't get it fired up. So that's the story on this. Next comes, let's talk about the electric golf carts. I basically have two of these EZGO electrics. There's this one, and then there's the, sorry about the wind, then there's this guy that I converted to the all-terrain vehicle, the utility vehicle, the donut cart, whatever we want to call it. My plan is also to keep those two for interchangeability of parts. Especially that engine's pretty strong compared to what was in there, and I'm afraid at some point I might break it. So I'm going to keep that guy for that. Next up is one that could go. This is a club car and this is an electric club car. It actually moved just before I got it. It moved. You could see the batteries are missing. The nice thing about club cars is you see those frame rails, they're aluminum. This thing is actually pretty light. And if one was going to do a let's call it a China conversion on one of these carts, it would be a really good one for that. One could put in one of these 125cc motors with reverse, and for not big money, one could set up a really nice cart with that. You know, something like that with reverse. Just slam that in there. You see how it's nice and flat and very horizontal. It would go right under the seat. One would have to put a straight axle because you can't drive the rear end on that thing because it's got an electric motor in it that turns like 3,000 RPM. Even if you went 1-to-1, when you had that thing in third gear, it'd be moving way too slow. So one would have to do something with the rear end in it, but that one, given how light it is, would be a good one for that kind of conversion. Anyway, that's probably a cart that I would look forward to getting rid of. After that, I have 3 of these Yamahas. Here's Yamaha number 1. And this guy is a 94. So that's a 94 Yamaha. It's known as a G9. I have 2 other G9s. That one up on the trailer has no motor, and this one has no motor. And this one does have a motor. So just quickly, if you guys can look at the frame rails here, see the way that frame rail runs along there, and you see the way this is here, and that frame rail. Looking at the same cart, notice the problem right there. The frame rail is out of it. Notice the trouble you got going on here. And even as you look at these, this inner box actually hinges on the outer box. This is a cradle, right? And if you take the motor out of this thing, you're robbing the cradle. But so the cradle has been robbed here. But that's a cradle that is able to move up and down with the rear end. So the motor, the air cleaner, the rear end, all that moves in one on one cradle. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the engine out of this one, and I'm going to put it in that guy up there. The frame is in best shape for the one up on there. So that's the plan. Then one of the 2 of these will be available to go. And I mention that because one of my longtime subscribers, Reading, 214 Reading, I think it's 214 Reading. He's interested in doing a golf cart conversion, so that will be available for. We're working on a deal, so that's one that could become available. And lastly is this. This is a Yamaha. I'm not exactly sure of what year it is. It looks to me like a older one. It was made in Japan. I think you guys can see this. And this is a 2-stroke motor. This does not have reverse. And once again, everything, this too, the motor and the whole bit runs on the cradle. Look at the size of the exhaust system on that thing. This thing, this thing belonged to a shop teacher, and he bought it not running, and I got or maybe he even got it for nothing. He was a member of one of the boat clubs on the Hudson, and maybe they ran around with it for a period of time, and then he got it. I'm not exactly sure. I never got it running. I just checked. The engine is free. This one too will be available to go over the side. So if somebody is thinking about trading something, that one too will be available to go over the side. And just for completeness, the last cart in the fleet is this EZGO Workhorse. It belonged to a Brookside Meadows. I'm not sure if they had it for its entire life or if they got it later. This was another shop teacher deal. I think originally it died of starter. They had the engine rebuilt, they got it back, and they paid a lot of money to have the engine rebuilt, $1,400. It's got a 2-cylinder Robin in it. Because I got the receipt from the rebuild, I was given that. And it went back to the apartment complex, and I think the starter was acting up. Anyway, he changed the brushes in the starter. Then it's between sitting around his house and sitting around the apartment complex. The carburetor was kind of screwy. So I worked on it a little bit when I first got it and didn't make a lot of progress. Now that, you know, I've been working a lot more on this stuff and I have more experience, I would do much better. I'm sure I can get it running now. I've learned quite a bit about golf carts and all. And talking of other things up for adoption, this is, I believe it's a Yamaha Warrior. You can see it's got pieces missing out of the top and all that. But the front end is there, the rear end is there, the shocks are there. I wouldn't mind seeing that guy disappear also. You know, I'm not gonna do anything with it. So I'd like to make arrangements for that one to go. 2114 Reading spoke to me first, and once again we got a bit of a deal cooking. So I'm gonna, hopefully he could get here some kind of real time and we can work out what he's taking. And then once that happens, for the other stuff, oh god, yeah, for the other stuff I'll go through it. Yeah, on the one in the shed, this is all missing. I mean, literally not here. This is not here, this is not here, that's not there, a bunch of this is not there. This is where the battery sits, by the way. You can see it even didn't do the frame any good. That's the air cleaner. The motor's more that way. So, yeah, that's a few carts that I guess that gives me like 3 of them that can move on. One of these G9s, that aluminum bodied club, and the 2-cycle Yamaha. One might be able to get that 2-cycle Yamaha running. I mean, it needs some love and attention. It looks like he's got the oil injector removed from when I looked under the seat there, but the engine is free, it's not seized up. Looks like the carburetor is there. Most of it looks like it's intact. I guess it's got great potential to run, but it doesn't have reverse, or if it does have reverse, it's the motor running backwards, and I just think a motor running backwards is like sacrilegious. So I don't have any interest in bringing that one back to life. Okay, that's it for this video. I really want to watch you guys for thank you guys for watching and commenting and subscribing. If anybody there sees if anybody sees something interesting that they want to talk to me about acquiring from the Horde, if it doesn't say Honda on it, we might be able to work out some kind of deal. If it says Honda on it, you know, it's going to be a lot harder to get it from me. But if it's doesn't say Honda on it, it's possible, because I do have to get some stuff out of here to try to set myself up better for winter. I don't want to go into winter. Last winter was an easy winter, but I went into it in such a way that I wasn't able to play with my toys the way I wanted to, and it was an easy winter. As an example, this guy here, if I had an easy slot to work on it in the garage, like one bay for just that, if these two were not sitting here, it would be up possibly on this table sitting right in the garage there, and I'd probably have the motor smashed onto it. The Kawasaki there, the Lakota, if it didn't have all that crap piled onto it, I probably would have smashed the engine back together again. And even on this side, if this load of stuff was not here, right, I can have another project I was working on, whether it was the XR100 or the XR80. I do have the XR80 in here, it's down there, but I can't work on it in that tight little spot. So, you know, as I fix things, I don't want to put it back out in the weather, so they kind of stay in here once they're fixed, but then I don't have room to work on the next thing without unloading the current thing. Even these guys, right, it should go up on that. I should pull the engine off, the tires off, and then, you know, put the frame under an overhang somewhere. This guy too, pull the engine and tires off and put the frame under an overhang just in case I need bits and pieces. That way this stuff is available to me, and the motors are out doing something better. But I got to slow down one step at a time, get rid of a few golf carts. Once I get rid of the golf carts, hopefully that opens up this space here. And now I kind of have a carport. This carport isn't huge. I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. It's like, I don't know, is that 8 or 10? It's a little more than it. It's like 8 by 14, I guess. So it's not huge, but it's some more space. All right, folks, I really want to thank you guys for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, get your head up, and get out there, and please enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.